channel Avanti Morocha. Today I'm going to show you how my husband and I make this accent wall. We use cedar boards and chalk paint. This project was made in collaboration with Chalk Paint Decorative Paint by Annie Sloan. I used chalk paint on several projects. Having worked with it, I knew it was going to be the perfect way to give the new untreated cedar boards a weathered wood look.
We purchased 5.5 by 8 foot cedar boards that were 5/8 inch thick. We acclimated the wood in our house for about a week. Hardware store wood can be a little wet when you first purchase it. Letting it acclimate will make sure you get the best results. After the wood has been acclimated, plane it down a little bit. The main reason to plane the wood is to get rid of the rough parts or otherwise ugly pieces without taking away the reclaimed look. This wood is now ready to paint. To seal the wood, we primed one side of it. This will be the side that goes against the wall. After the primer has dried, we cut the wood into 3 different lengths: 6 foot, 3 foot, 2 foot. First coat of paint. Paint 2/3 of the board with a whitewash and then stain the rest with a dark walnut. The whitewash is made of chalk paint and old white using a ratio of 1:4, 1 part paint, 4 parts water. Remember, we're going for a rustic look, so don't worry about being perfect or polished. As you're painting, don't forget to paint the sides of the boards. Once the first coat is complete, let them dry. Using a dark walnut stain and a wet cotton rag, stain the rest of the boards. Using a wet rag with the dark walnut stain gives the wood color, but doesn't make it overly dark. For this next coat, we'll apply a wash of graphite and cocoa. To make the graphite wash, use chalk paint and graphite and water. Ratio 1:5. 1 part paint, 5 parts water. After you finish painting the board, go back through with a wet rag and pull some paint off. This will give it a tarnished look. Remember, don't worry about being perfect. There's no wrong way to do this. Experiment with the colors, and have fun while you're doing it. We'll now make a wash in cocoa using chalk paint and cocoa and water with a ratio of 1:4. 1 part paint, 4 parts water. Just like before, remove some of the paint with a wet rag, exposing some of that great wood grain. For these boards, we'll paint over the whitewash with this cocoa wash. Remember to leave a couple little spots. Perfect is imperfect. For the boards that were stained, we'll paint over them with the graphite wash. Once again, remove some paint with the wet rag. Time to let them all dry. Now that the boards are dry, apply cocoa to the graphite boards, and vice versa. Remember, this is a very light coat, so just a few strokes will get the job done. Use dark wax over the boards that were previously painted with the cocoa wash. Apply a couple strokes of the cocoa wash over the boards that have the graphite wash. Just as before, graphite will be applied to the cocoa boards. However, for this one, the brush is going to be almost dry. Now apply chalk paint dark wax over the boards with cocoa. As you can see, the wax gives the wood a warm tone. For the last coat, we're going to use the dry brush technique with chalk paint and old white. This will be applied to all of the boards. The dry brush technique uses pure paint, no water. So make sure the brush is almost dry. If you have excess paint on the brush, you can remove it with a paper towel. As you're giving the boards that finishing touch, use long, soft strokes. Once again, let all of the boards dry. Once the boards were all dry, they were transported to the room and arranged on the floor in a pseudo brick pattern. This was done so my wife could actually figure out the way she wanted all of them. Before nailing anything to the wall, the studs were mapped out using a stud finder and a pen. We started from the top, using a regular level to level the boards and nail them to the wall. Starting from the top, make sure we have full boards across the room. You only need to level the top row. The top row is actually the most difficult. However, once complete, everything else just falls in line. If the space you're working in has light colored walls, I recommend painting it a darker color. This will help fill the gaps and hide any imperfections. Here I've marked out the notches in the wall that I'm going to cut on the board, measured it out, used one of the existing wall plates as a guide, and made sure that the area that I'm going to cut out where the receptacle will fit. So, like that. Once all the wood was up, we added crown molding to the window we framed before. The surface area of this project is about 160 square feet. To paint everything, we used about half a can of chalk paint and old white, with less than half a can of cocoa and graphite.
This is an easy project, but time-consuming. The process of planing, cutting, sanding, painting, and placing the boards took us approximately 2 weekends. The time we spent making this project was totally worth it. We are really happy with the final result. For those who may not know, I study architecture, and these kind of projects are my cup of tea. Stay tuned to my channel, more master bedroom projects are coming soon. I hope you like this project. If you have any question, leave it in the comment section. If you made this project, don't forget to share a picture on my Facebook page or tag me on Instagram. I would love to see it. Don't forget to visit my blog, follow me on my social media, like this video, and share it with your loved ones. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks for watching, and see you soon.